Update: my girlfriend 21 female cheated on me 23 male with my father 54 male. Do I cut my dad off or try to forgive him? We have been together for over a year. My girlfriend and father last week set me down to tell me they had a week-long affair a couple months ago. They only had sex 3 times, they said, and after the 3rd time they say they both felt extremely guilty and mortified at their actions. They've been wanting to tell me since then but didn't have the hearts. I always knew they got on well, they bonded over many shared interests, but I never saw this coming. I feel completely sick. I haven't eaten hardly anything since they told me. I haven't officially broken up with her yet, but it is obvious as I haven't responded to any of the texts, calls she sent when they first told me and after it had sank in. I left and haven't said a word to anyone outside of work since. I've been a total ghost to my whole family and friend group. My dad and I are very close. For my whole life I have looked up to him. He and my mum divorced when I was a teenager, but they have been very friendly to each other, which made the process so much easier. I want to forgive my dad, but if my girlfriend had cheated on me with another person, I would easily cut them both off. And in a weird way my dad has hurt me so much more by doing this than she has. I could get over a cheating girlfriend, but my relationship with my father, a relationship I cherished, is destroyed, and it's his fault. My question is this: should I forgive my father? How can I forgive him? Should I tell my mum or brother? Would I be cruel for completely cutting him off, which is what my heart is telling me to do? Too long didn't read: my girlfriend and dad had sex 3 times and felt so bad they told me. Update: I have received several PMs asking me to update. A bit has happened since then, but I will try to be brief to avoid a wall of boring text. So I told my mum and brother like everyone suggested. My mum was heartbroken, and we talked for a few hours. She told me she was not surprised. When they were married she suspected him of having inappropriate contact with students. My dad is a handsome man and she told me many girls would give him that kind of attention. She did not know if he was unfaithful for certain though. My brother took it as I expected. He blamed my ex and told me I should date less slutty women. I feel like this is missing the point, but whatever. I can't stand that guy anyway. For the following week after I dumped my ex, she would call and text me a lot. The gist was basically she loved me and I should forgive her because she made a mistake but hates herself for it. She told me it was just sex and that she wanted to fulfill her fantasy of having sex with an older male teacher before we got married. I didn't respond to any of these messages or return her calls. I hadn't heard from my dad until a few days ago when he came by to reconcile. He let himself in as he has a key and we talked. He told me about how the affair started with them flirting a little. Eventually they had sex. He said while they had sex 3 times, only the last time was actual penetrative sex. The first 2 she just blew him apparently and he fingered her. He told me this like I was going to be relieved they only did it once. In reality I was horrified that now a detailed picture was in my mind. I asked him if he had been in contact with my ex. He said yes and that they have had dinner a few times as friends because he was worried about her. According to my ex, I was emotionally torturing her, and my dad believes he is responsible for her. I told him I would not have a relationship with him ever if he kept in contact with her. He said I was his son and that he would be in my life regardless. I just held my tongue. He then told me it was shitty to tell my mum and brother like I was trying to ruin his reputation. I was done, so I just nodded and apologized. I know that was cowardly, but I didn't want an argument. That was a few days ago. I haven't told anyone else other than my immediate family. I still don't know whether to totally cut contact with my dad. Part of me does, part of me doesn't. Too long didn't read, told my family. Broke up with my GF. Dad came over to reconcile. I still don't know what to do. Edit: people are concerned with me apologizing. I do not actually feel remorse. I told him that because it is what he wanted to hear and I wanted him to leave. At that point I was just nodding along to avoid an argument and him potentially staying longer. Also I should have asked for the key, but like someone said here, it is difficult for me to face him, so I admit I wasn't thinking straight. Wow, your dad is a piece of shit. He ducks his son's girlfriend and he has the balls to say that you're ruining his reputation. On top of that, you gave him a condition that you will try to have a relationship with him if he cuts out your ex. And he blows that off and says that you will have a relationship with him no matter what. Where was his apology? Where was his remorse? Where was the pain and guilt that he's supposed to be feeling because he ducked up his family? To be honest, he doesn't sound sorry at all. It sounds like he was gloating about the blowjobs he got from your girlfriend. He probably cheated on your mum for years. What an asshole. Your ex is also an asshole, but at least she sounds sorry and she's not trying to gloat. Your ex sounds more guilty and sorry than your dad. Just because your dad has your blood, doesn't mean he deserves forgiveness. based on his lack of remorse. Your ex deserves forgiveness more than your dad. He's also known you your entire life, raised you. He should ducking know better. If anything, your dad's actions are less forgivable than your ex's. Your dad was never going to tell you either. Your ex is still an ass, but she had the kindness to tell you about the affair. So why have you cut out your ex and not your dad? Cut him out. That piece of shit doesn't deserve your time. I would even try to get him in trouble with his job. If he's ducking students, which he probably currently is, then he doesn't deserve to be a teacher. You apologized to your dad for him having sex with your girlfriend. He doesn't have a reputation that you ruined. He ruined it himself. Duck that guy. Oh, he has to take her to dinner because you're emotionally torturing her. Forget that noise. There's consequences for her actions. Edit. Also, why did she tell you about her fantasy like you'd give a shit? Oh, you wanted to have sex with an old dude. Oh, okay, that makes it all good. She cheated on you with your father and you are emotionally torturing her. What a self-centered person. He's still ducking her. Your dad is a liar and a huge piece of shit. Tell everyone you know. Tell all your ex's friends. I had a similar situation, but my ex ended up marrying my dad after we had split up. I haven't spoken to either of them in 27 years. Second story. My 27 female best friend 28 female told me she was having an affair with my husband 28 male. I don't believe her. Yesterday, my best friend of forever came to my house to tearfully confess she had been having an affair with my husband. She gave me a lot of details, including the places they slept together, how often it happened, when it started, etc. She was very apologetic but told me she had to tell me the truth because her daughter, one female, deserved to know her daddy. Honestly, I was in shock and didn't say much. I haven't confronted my husband yet as he works long hours and I went to sleep before he got home. The more I think about it, though, the less I believe her. For one, when I asked her to show me proof, she claimed she would send it to me later, but she still hasn't done it. There's also the fact that when my husband first asked me out, my best friend tried to discourage me from dating him. She did the same thing when he proposed, and if I ever mention even the slightest disagreement, she insists I should get a divorce. She also admitted to me after we got engaged that she had been planning to ask him out before he asked me out, but she took too long. There also hasn't been any signs that my husband was having an affair. I know I'm going to have to talk to my husband about this, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't sound accusatory. How do I do that? Also, do I sound like I'm in denial? Too long didn't read. My childhood best friend told me she was having an affair with my husband and that his baby is hers. She still hasn't shown me the proof I asked her for and I'm starting to doubt her claims. Third story. My boss 46 male visits escorts. His wife 40 SF emailed me asking if I've 29 female seen him being unfaithful. My boss owns a medium-sized business in our town and is very successful. I am his assistant at work and handle a lot of the work. I've been working with him for 6 years now and we have a very good working relationship and friendship too. I enjoy my job and I work enthusiastically, and I am very well compensated for it with very good salary and benefits. I couldn't get anywhere near it if I got a job somewhere else. I know his family too. His wife has always been very good to me. I go to the gym with their daughter and we sometimes hang out. So she sent me this email this morning to my personal email address, asking me if I've seen anything that would suggest he's been unfaithful. She explains how she's been a little suspicious for a while now and wants an honest answer from me. She said that I shouldn't worry about my job or anything, as whatever my answer is, and it will remain between us and her husband will never know. She says she just wants the truth. I really don't know what to do. I've never seen her husband with any women as in a long-term affair, but I know he visits prostitutes, usually when going for business out of town. He's been doing it for over 4 years now. He knows that I know, but we've never discussed it. I've always stayed out of it as I'd never considered it any of my business. Part of me wants to do the right thing here and tell her the truth, but also the other part wants to remain out of it and not get involved. And it's a little self-serving on my part too, if I am honest, because if she slips up and tell him, that could be the end of my job here. I don't know what to do and I don't have much time. I probably need to respond to that tonight. Too long didn't read. My boss wife emailed me asking if I've seen him cheat on her. He has. He visits escorts, but I am conflicted to whether or not get involved. Fourth story. Me 29 female with my husband 30 male accused me of cheating and wants a paternity for our child. To preface, I never have cheated on my husband, never even come close or even thought about it. 6 months ago we found out I was pregnant and he was overjoyed. Then his friend Sam was having financial troubles and he asked if his friend could move in temporarily, rent-free whilst he got his life back on track. I have no problems with Sam, so I agreed. I didn't really have much to do with Sam when he was in the house except to allocate chores, which he did without complaining. He spent most of his time in his room, job hunting I am assuming. He's had a few interviews and he's not really the social type. Anyway, over a random breakfast conversation Sam and I got to talking about this co-op game that we wanted to play that we'd played as a Singe player. Since we both owned a copy of the game, we started playing and it was surprisingly fun. We also asked my husband to join in. It's a multiply 2-4 player co-op, but he wasn't interested, so Sam asked another friend of his and my husband's. We've been playing this game on and off for about 2 months now. I only have time to play an hour or so a week, and Sam and I have become better friends as a result because we like the same geeky things. Fast forward to last month. My husband, out of the blue, accused me of cheating on him with Sam. He said a friend of ours had seen Sam and I on the couch making out. Now Sam and I were on the couch, but we weren't making out. We were playing the game. I even showed my husband the last playtime that was recorded, but he still didn't believe me. He tossed Sam out of the house, told all his friends that Sam had an affair with me. Luckily for Sam, the friend that was playing with us confirmed that we weren't making out, and Sam moved in with another friend for about 2 weeks before getting a job and moving out on his own. My husband, on the other hand, has been cold, distant and nasty to me and refused to have anything to do with the baby and I until I agreed to do the paternity test. Previously, he'd come to appointments, driven me places, even when I had cravings. Not to mention, Sam wasn't even in the picture when I got pregnant. He wore me down, so I did the paternity test. Of course it was his. So apologized, and I think his friend's family talked some sense into him because he apologized for doubting me, but I am furious. I moved to stay with my sister and he's been apologizing a lot, but I think I am done with him. Everyone else though is saying he messed up and I should give him another chance. Reddit, what do I do? Should I? Too long didn't read. Husband accused me of cheating. I moved out. He wants another chance. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.